How am I doing? I'm doing okay. Okay. Everybody else. Final checks.
Microphone checker. Mic check. Checking the mic.
Can we check the Ikes too?
Yes. That is acceptable. It's a little unorthodox, but I'll let it slide.
We'll let it go this time.
Yeah, okay, cool. We're good to go.
Are we about to click over to? Are we about to turn Twitch on? Is that the idea?
Twitch is on.
Oh, really?
Twitch is on. Am I retweeting anything? Oh, it automatically is Nintendo Dad's podcast. Okay.
Twitch is live? Let's just see here. Oh, okay.
Are you going to have to mute that stream, Jesse?
I've got it on like really quiet, so I can just so I could hear that things were going on. I'll completely mute it before we actually start.
Okay, cool. Just because I can hear it is all. So.
Right, now it's muted.
Turn off that idiot box.
All right. Are we ready?
We're good to go.
And you want to count us in, Zach?
Sure. In 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Nintendo Dad's Episode 9. On tonight's episode, we return after holiday break. Justin received a DS surprise box for Christmas. Zach might have an amiibo addiction. And Jesse finally took our advice and picked up Shovel Knight. Plus, we provide our 2015 predictions for Nintendo. Zachary, cue the music!
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Nintendo Dads, the first episode of 2015. My name is Zach Erickson, and joining me tonight, as always is the case, is Justin Masson. How are you doing tonight, Justin?
I'm doing great, as always is the case.
Always.
Always.
We're so predictable. It's all about the reliability and as
dedication.
well dedication. Joining us as well tonight is Jesse Waldeck. How are you doing tonight, Jesse?
Good. I am so glad you introduced him instead of me first, because right as you introduced Justin, my wireless headset decided to resync, so I stopped hearing what you were talking about for about 5 seconds. So I was hoping like hell you didn't say me first, because I wouldn't have known that you said me, and I would have just sat there looking like a
hello,
dope.
Jesse, hello. Let me tell you, by the way, tonight I performed an important rite of passage as a manly man and the head father of the household, and I installed a ceiling fan, which was really exciting. And my wife was like, well, just let me call my dad and all that kind of stuff. I was like, I will install this by myself, and I will do it and prove my manliness. And
you're like, no, get me my tool belt. I will man up and do this.
See, I've never done that before either. I've had to have my landlord install one, and my brother-in-law installed one last year for us.
Yeah, it actually it's funny because over Christmas as well, and maybe we'll get straight into our what we've been playing. Do we have a what we've been playing thing here?
I think you do.
I thought I had a bumper, but it's not labeled. None of this crap's labeled except for some of them. Anyway, how about this one? Oh, no, hang on. We'll try that again.
Nothing is labeled except for some of them. I like that.
Come on, yeah, some of them, but not the one that I want. Well, I don't think that I've used that one before, but it sounded nice.
Nice.
So over the holidays, I think all of us kind of got some things. The first thing that I wanted to talk about that actually isn't necessarily a game, but I got first of all, I got a new microphone, so if I sound different or better or whatever, then that would be awesome. That would be why. Also, I got my wife got me a really awesome toolkit from iFixit.com, which is like I think they're like a DIY repair sort of. They have a lot of repair videos and stuff like that, but it came with a precision screwdriver kit that, I kid you not, has every ridiculous screwdriver bit in existence. And so I actually ended up repairing my old Game Boy. It had a bunch of lines in it, so I cracked that thing open and got out my soldering iron and like fixed it so that the lines in the screen were gone. And man, like it is. I'm kind of like looking online now, like okay, now I'm gonna like do crazy mods, and it's pretty cool, pretty exciting. So getting into that, seeing the kind of cool customization that people have done to old Game Boys and stuff like that is really cool that you can see online. So
I've always wanted to do something like that, but I'm probably never going to try it again because the one time I did try to do a hard mod on my old GameCube, I bricked it.
yeah, well, I think
I touched the wrong A and B together, and it thing wouldn't do anything.
big
anymore.
old thing of smoke. Yeah,
So
the Game Boy, I think the Game Boy is a pretty easy place to start. I think because like I have a Game Boy Color as well that a while ago I replaced the speaker in it because I had gotten it off of eBay and it was a borked speaker, but you can find replacement parts on eBay for super cheap, and so I think like the handheld market or the early handheld stuff is really pretty easy repairs for the most part.
yeah,
Even some of the stuff that you can, the more complicated stuff is pretty simple to get into as well.
I might have told this story before, but once I had two broken DS lights. I wanted to Frankenstein them together, and the end result was just two smoking piles of trash.
Nice. So yeah, that was the one thing I've been doing. As well as far as games we've been playing, I got Pokemon Omega Ruby, which I've been playing. Roger, when he was on the show a while ago, he talked about it. I don't have a whole lot more to add, other than that. If you played Pokemon X, there's not a ton different. I did get the cosplay Pikachu, and so I've got like this rock star Pikachu right now who's on my team. That's pretty cool. Like he's in like weird goth clothes. But other than that, it's basically the same Pokemon game. This is maybe going to come up a little bit later, but man, I continue to be disappointed by that game's engine and the lack of 3D in over half the game, and the crappy frame rate if you do turn on 3D in the battles and stuff like that. That still is a really annoying thing to me.
Zach, is it because it's just pushing the software is just pushing the hardware to the edge, or is it the fact that do you feel like this game was intentionally designed with the new 3DS in mind? We talk about hardware versus software kind of compatibility.
I think it's the same engine that it was in last year.
Okay.
With Pokemon X and Y, I think it's just a game that they're pushing the current hardware too far, frankly. And I'll get more into that later. But I think that it's just they wanted it to look a certain way, and they wanted to have the certain aesthetic of having the 3D battles and things like that, and they wanted it to be able to flesh everything out in 3D. And I think there may be some sort of a valid point there where it was more important for them to be able to build a polygonal world and sacrifice 2D because of that, and then take that engine, and knowing that the new 3DS is going to be more powerful could potentially come later, and they could, instead of having to rebuild the engine to take advantage of that, they just did that from the beginning and kind of made those sacrifices along the way, but I'm not sure. Either way, though, it's still a really fun game. Pokemon is Pokemon, though. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about that. Next, I have talking about on Boxing Day, which for you non-Canadian folks is the day after Christmas, and it's kind of like, it seems like back in the day, Canada had Boxing Day and the U.S. had Black Friday, and now Canada has Black Friday. And I don't know if you noticed this, Justin, but Black Friday this year actually kind of had crappy sales. I didn't know, like, Black Friday was almost better.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I couldn't really find a lot of great deals.
It was kind of sad, but I have a personal tradition of going out and buying a video game on Black Friday, and so I picked up for $15 Lego Marvel Superheroes, which, for those of you who know me, it may be a surprise that I didn't already own this game, but I've never really played a Lego game in general, from start to finish. And let me tell you, coming from the Nintendo dad's perspective, my 4-year-old son absolutely loves this game, and it's the sort of, I mean, I don't even know how many characters are in it that are unlockable. The actual main story was actually really fun too. A lot of, if you're a Marvel Superheroes fan, they've got super obscure characters in there. Like they've got Arnim Zola and like just super weird characters all over the place. They had the Guardians of the Galaxy, but it was before the movie came out, and so they were a little bit kind of weird, as far as their character designs there. But the main story was really fun. It did have 2-player. If you play with the gamepad, the person who's playing the gamepad does have the choice of playing on the gamepad only, which was kind of cool. So the boy was playing on the gamepad, and I was playing on the TV with the Wii Remote and Nunchuck. And you do have the option of playing split screen, but he would just play on the gamepad, and I would play on the TV, and it was a really fun time. It's a really fun game because to play with kids, because it's very simple to like, okay, well, now we need to go do this thing. And if he's just having fun beating up bad guys, then you can just be like, okay, well, just switch what character you're controlling right now, and I'll control the one we need to finish this puzzle. And he would just keep fighting bad guys and stuff. So it was really fun, and we've beaten the story now, and we're just trying to unlock all the characters. And it's a lot of fun. So for $15, man, that was nothing. It seems like, and the Lego formula for games, I don't know if either of you guys have played any recently, but they're pretty copy paste sort of formula with the gameplay. It's just a lot of puzzles and knowing which character has which ability to open certain switches and so on. But my phone made a noise. But yeah. So yeah, have either of you guys played a Lego game before?
I've played the Lego Indiana Jones and the Lego Batman, and both those were on my DS. Okay,
yeah. So you didn't necessarily get the multiplayer aspect of the Lego games then?
No, not at this point.
Okay.
I'm deprived that way.
I played what was it? This Lego Star Wars 2, which on PS2 it was all 6 of the original episodes.
Oh, right, yeah.
I initially had the first one that was just episodes 1, 2, and 3, and then it was said to be continued when you finished it. And then Lego Star Wars 2 was pretty much Lego Star Wars 1 with the original trilogy tacked on, so you were able to have all 6 episodes, I think.
Cool.
if I'm
awesome.
remembering.
No, yeah,
right.
that's that, man. There's so many Lego Star Wars games, especially initially. It's crazy. There was a lot of them, so very cool. So that's mostly what I've been playing. It's pretty. It's been a lot of fun playing games over the Christmas holiday, and now it's time to get back to real life and kind of like miss playing video games all the time and whatever with my son. I'm like, I'm at work and can't. My son was like, Daddy, are we going to play this game tomorrow? Are we going to try and unlock this character? And I'm like, sorry, son, I have to go to work. It's like, why?
That's a great question.
It's like that is the question. So we can buy more games, son, and play. So anyway, how about you, Justin? What have you been playing?
What I did is I actually took the recommendation of these two wonderful co-hosts that I do a weekly podcast with called the Nintendo Dads Podcast.
Oh, I've heard of that.
I know, right? They're kind of nice guys. And I revisited some games that they recently reviewed and were playing. So I went back and played SteamWorld Dig, about a couple more hours of that based on Jesse's review of it a while ago. Again, I'm playing on the Wii U, and it was just it's a really great game that allows you the opportunity to pick up and play for 15, 20, 30 minutes and then put down. And we had some issues where my oldest daughter just wasn't quite falling asleep. She likes to have someone kind of in the room or down by where she lives. We have a 4-level, or lives where she sleeps. We have a 4-level split.
Like a separate apartment.
Yeah, I drive her to her own room and put her there.
It's about time to break off on your own, kid.
Yeah. Start paying rent, you 6-year-old. So sometimes she goes to bed and her mother will have headed to bed, and I'll have to kind of like wait up until she falls asleep. So it's a great opportunity to catch up with that. And then I also played some NES Remix, Zach, based on your recommendations again for the Wii U. And I was just playing NES Remix, just the first one. They have 1 and 2. and it's just such a, and to your point, Zach, it's a great game. It's a fun game. It brings you back to playing 8-bit games. And then I had a friend who actually came over who'd never played NES Remix at all, and I gave it to him to try and challenge. And he said, I really love Excite Bike. And I said, well, I don't have Excite Bike, but I have this game. Do you want to try it? And he sunk an hour and a half into the NES Remix game, playing all the challenges, and just loved it, to a point he actually said to me, he's like, can I download this game on my son's 2DS? And I was like, yeah, yes, the 3DS version, but yeah, go ahead. And so I was just kind of revisiting those games and just really enjoying them.
Yeah, no, I love it. Like I said before, it's like that wonderful sort of like guided tour through early Nintendo history. It's really fun.
I just unlocked, because you kind of have to unlock some of the games within the game to play. So I recently unlocked Link, and then I unlocked Wrecking Crew, which was a game
that's an interesting one. Yeah,
never played. And I described it. Wrecking Crew felt like there was Donkey Kong. Mm-hmm. There was Mario, like Mario, the first one for the NES, and somewhere in between was Wrecking Crew. Like, you could feel like there's some archetypes and some frames that were definitely transitioned from Donkey Kong into Mario, and this was somewhere in between. That actually, the character looks very Mario-esque. The actual artwork from the original casing is very similar to the very first Mario that we see in the NES. The grid system, the ladders look very similar to the Donkey Kong. So this felt like this kind of weird, like, did I just uncover something that I never knew existed? So that was pleasant. And I just unlocked the Ice Climbers levels.
Nice.
Content. So that's what I've been playing. Interestingly enough, I also picked up over the holidays for a read Console Wars. For those of you that grew up in the 80s, 90s, and even the 2000s, and know of the console wars between NES and Nintendo and Sega, this is a fantastic read that I've been about a week into it, and I'm about 600 pages in, and it is a really great read if you love the history of just kind of the two companies, how they got to where they were, and that battle of the 90s and how they kind of threw punches at each other. Really cool read.
Awesome. Yeah, I've heard about that. I just haven't. Yeah, no, that's really cool. I'm looking forward to hearing more about that as well. That's really awesome. Oh, by the way, I'm just looking at the notes here, and I realized that I didn't talk about Amiibo. You mentioned in the early notes, Justin, or in the opener, that I may have an Amiibo addiction. I think any collector can sympathize with the point of diminishing returns on being obsessive about something. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I may have reached that with Amiibo, where I'm no longer like, oh man, I've got to get all of these. Since Christmas, I have no longer felt that extreme urge, and I feel like I won't have it again until Wave 3.
That's fair.
But having said that, we have like 5 more Amiibos in the house since then. I think in the house now. So now we have, like, my son got 3 of the Amiibos in the house, so he has 4 Amiibos now. We had initially made some I think I talked about it before, how we had found all these different Amiibos and whatever, and we had gone out and we had found Luigi and Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong and Little Mac and Pit, and I was really wanting the Pit one, so I kept the Pit for myself, but the other ones I was like, well, I could wait and see if I need to sell these or whatever, and I was just like, forget it, we'll just give the boy all of them for Christmas. So we just threw them all in a box. So
yeah.
But it's funny though, once you get enough of them, it's like, okay, well, they all look really cool. If I have one more on my shelf, it's not going to look that much more cool than it already looks.
Right.
So, but it's still, yeah, it's interesting, the whole situation there.
Speaking of kind of our earlier notes and the Christmas stuff, I also mentioned in the opening that I got a DS surprise box. My folks used to have a DS or have a couple DSs, and they collected some games, and they don't play them anymore. They handed them down to me, but I opened this box, and there are some beautiful old classic games in here that I want to mention that are now part of my possession. I'm going to put this up in front of the camera here in a second so that people can see these. So I have what is this one? This is mystery case files. So this is great. An old game.
It's like a. How would you explain that game? That was like a visual like a visual searching sort of game. Like Where's Waldo-esque.
Yeah, very Where's Waldo. We have some personal training cooking. So classically, when the DS was in its way to teaching you how to cook.
Blue Ocean strategy, as it were.
Yes, exactly. And it mentions in here the DS can be your grocery list. I thought that was interesting.
It's so interesting. Imagine like this alternate future where the DS was the replacement for your smartphone. Because Nintendo was really trying that for a while.
And this was all in design before iPhone and iPad was a thing. So at the time, it probably
there was no App
sense,
Store,
but now it seems silly.
And I could see how people would use it. Like it was such a device that everyone used. Like I said, my folks are, they're just a little bit over 60, and this was only a couple of years ago. They were on the DS craze, right? They were playing all these games. Other ones we have in here. This is for Jesse because he loves it.
Yes.
Picross 3D. So I'm going to be diving into that. But there was some golden nuggets that they actually did have in here, including Mario and Luigi. Bowser's Inside Story, which I'm adding to my queue of DS games to play. I'm traveling in the next couple
Have you played a Mario
weeks.
and Luigi game before?
No, well, other than like the typical Mario and Luigi, like
not like
NES,
the RPGs though. Hey.
No, I never have.
Oh man, that game in particular, I don't. Oh man, it was so good. I loved that.
I think
that was the only one that I played out of the bunch. But what I played, I love that game. I played it all the way through.
I've played through all of them except for the GBA one, and I think Inside Story is my favorite.
Cool.
And then the final one that I was talking about in the pre-show, this is Nancy Drew and the Model Mystery. And the tagline in the back that wants to get you to buy it is, "Can you unveil the wedding mystery?" So, I know. But so it was
I didn't even catch that. Oh, that's terrible.
So some of these will be making their way over to my daughter's DS collections. They both got old DSs now to play, and we'll see how they do with personal cooking and
that's so awesome.
Nancy Drew mysteries.
Very cool. Jesse, have you been playing anything over the Christmas?
I did pick up a few games over since the last show was. We had the week off. Plus, we did the Christmas show where we didn't talk about what we've been playing. So there's like 3 weeks since the last time I talked about what we've been playing. So, a few games I picked up was, I did pick up Fantasy Life on 3DS. Which
nice!
I didn't get.
I've been hearing good things about that with lots of.
And so have I, but so far it really hasn't been a big click. It hasn't made me want to play it. I don't know if I just picked the wrong class first. I don't know. But I started out as the miner, figuring I'd go migrate from miner to blacksmith to the fighter.
So you'd have a
logical progression, but I don't know.
Makes sense to me.
I got 4 or 5 hours into it. Almost onto the second stage miner.
I've heard that game is a little bit of a grind for the first little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm hoping it opens up once I get a chance to play it more. Then a cheapy little game, which I think I heard later is already is out on iOS for free, but this was like $3, I think, called Faerun. It's like an 8-bit top-down RPG kind of Zelda 1-ish in its grid makeout.
Okay.
But while each grid is actually 4 screens, so there is a little bit of scrolling going on between screens, and then you go to another whole new grid section. And did you ever play the original Ys? Ys?
No, I haven't played any of those games.
Okay, well, the original Ys, the battle system was, there wasn't like push A to attack. This was just run into him,
Nice.
and based on your angle of attack, based on how their angle would determine whether you got hit or not. This is kind of a dumbed down version of that. You know, there's maximum level is 25, and for every monster in the game has a level. And so if you try to attack something that's 2 levels ahead of you, you can't touch it, but it'll do damage to you. If it's 1 level ahead of you, you can attack it, but every time you attack it for 1 damage, it hits you for 2 damage. Then if it's the same level, you can hit it, and then it's 1 damage, 1 damage. You see equal swap on damage. And then if you're a higher level than it, then you can just mow it down without
Nice.
so it's, and pretty much everything is 1 hit point. So you kill it, and then you take 1 damage or 2 damage depending on its level. So it's very simple combat. Early on, it takes a while to get used to what you can't attack and what you can't attack. But there is a little. You go into the menus and it'll tell you what your target NPC is to attack. And I probably put about 4 hours into it before I beat it. It was so it's a short game. Just the thing that really confused me. Later on I had to go to a FAQ just to find it, but throughout no time in the game did they ever introduce the concept of a false floor. But yet in the end game, they introduced the concept of a false floor, so I didn't know to look for them. That's why I got stuck.
Right. Okay.
They've had false walls, but they never had any false floors. So that was, see, what else did I play? This was released, I think, either on Christmas or on New Year's. It's called Puzzle Box Setup, like a $2 eShop title. It's really, pass on it. But what was?
Oh, really?
What's weird? What it is you have to play it upside down. So your touchscreen is top, and your display screen's on bottom, and so it's like you're dropping sand into a jar, and you're filling in the colors.
Okay.
If you can borrow the game from someone was dumb enough to buy it, try it. It's an interesting play for 10 minutes. After that, it's junk.
It seems like an ergonomic nightmare.
It is. Because it's the system is heavy on the base. So when you hold it upside down, it's now you feel like you're going to drop it, and then it'll land on its top. Okay, and then the game I've put most time in is Shantae and the Pirate's Curse.
Now, did you get it on the 3DS or the Wii U?
I picked it up on the 3DS.
I see you're a man who enjoys the 3D curvatures.
Yes, I wasn't going to mention that, but yes. Yeah, but I appreciate Mr. Zach Miller's appreciation for way forward females.
Nice.
Yeah, so and I picked up, as you mentioned before, Shovel Knight on the Wii U, which I probably should have gotten the 2 games the other way around. But
no, that's
the thing about I haven't played Shovel Knight yet, but Shovel Knight was on sale, which is the main reason why I picked it up.
Yeah, I did see that. I tweeted that out on our Twitter account at Nintendo Dads for those who are wanting sweet deals on the something. I don't know.
And it sounds like Shantae was also supposed to be on sale, nice. But for some technical difficulties, whatever that means, prevented it. So I bought it on the Wii U, and I was going to get ready to play it, but my kid, who I started work on Wednesday. The kids were still home from school. I mean, on Monday, kids are still home from school on Monday. So he took the gamepad upstairs to play it because I told him he can play downstairs in my office while I'm working. So while it was up there, we think the new puppy found the charging cable for the gamepad.
Oh no!
And when we went downstairs, brought the gamepad, then charged it back downstairs, gamepad was dead, and it's been plugged in all night. So I had to order a new game.
Oh.
I had ordered a new charging cable from Nintendo's store, and we'll get that on Friday. So I'll try to get some shovel night time in on this weekend. But I'm liking Shantae. It's
Stop. Shovel time.
yeah. I bought the GB Color Virtual Console version. Played maybe an hour of it, and I'm like, I feel like I'm stuck already. And I picked up Risky's Revenge on iPad a while ago when it was on a sale, and I was the same thing. I played about 20-30 minutes, and I felt I didn't like. Probably because I didn't like the touch controls. I should try it on the DSi release at some point. But I'm liking this. I like it's more of a Metroid style format where the whole world isn't one big line. So if you don't want to, you want to go. If you need to go from point E back to point A, you don't have to go through the middle 3 points. They're kind of segmented into little islands.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's for the storyline. If you haven't, it's really confusing if you haven't played Risky's Revenge because it's a direct sequel. But I'm kind of
I haven't played any of the other ones before, and from my understanding, the Risky's Revenge, the most recent one, solves several of the problems from the first two, and so it's a lot more streamlined.
Risky's Revenge is the second one.
Oh, sorry. No, Pirate's Curse is what I'm saying.
Pirate's Curse is the third one, yeah.
Yeah, apparently Pirate's Curse, it just solves a lot of the problems from the first two, and it ends up just being a better game overall. So,
yeah,
I don't know. It seems pretty cool.
I have gotten stuck a few times, and I had to hit a fact to figure out what I missed, and it's always something stupid. I think I'm in a stuck point now. I'm in the fourth dungeon. Yeah,
I got to a point. You probably are farther than I am. Then I got to a point where there's like this weird stealth area. And I was just like, I could go back to it.
When you're on the
where they think you're like some queen Island? Or something. I think so.
Yeah, when they think you're a princess, and you find out that all three of your friends were also captured, thought they were princesses, and then you meet the real princess at the end of the dungeon, and you're like, why did you think that they looked like her?
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that Tan Line Island?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
To
make sure I heard that one correctly.
Tan line, yes.
Like, I got my tan lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
And okay, then.
And there's...
I can't remember what the other ones are in there, but
level after that, you kind of go to the undead hell.
Oh, that's cool. I need to go back to that game, because it was really fun.
And you meet a character there that's really interesting.
Cool.
I won't. I'll stop there. But I'm liking it, and I'm looking forward to trying the Half Genie Hero when that comes out. On Wii.
Yeah, that
was the Kickstarter one.
Yeah, when does that come out?
I think it was originally supposed to be out last year, but it got pushed due to working on this, I think, and they had priorities set way forward. So I'm hoping it'll be out sometime this year.
Right on. Awesome. And with that, let's move on very quickly. We're going to talk about a couple of things before we move on to our discussion, but we're going to talk first about the news. The news.
The news.
All right, the news this week brought to you by the new European 3DS, which apparently goes from announcement to delivered in the hands of Lucky Club Nintendo Europe people in less than 24 hours.
I think already on eBay on sale for $400.
I watched unboxing. It was announced yesterday, and I watched unboxing videos this morning while I was having my breakfast. I don't understand this at all.
Who are they using? Because it's not Amazon.
No. No, I think it's actually... It may be... It's surprising, actually, how quickly Club Nintendo, if you buy something on Club Nintendo, how quickly they can ship things. I've never seen something that fast, though, but maybe I'm thinking the baseline of Canadian postage and not American postage or something like that, where Canadian postage seems to be fairly slow.
They're using green pipes.
Yeah, that's apparently, because
they're using
within 24 hours, man.
Maybe they're transparent now, because after 3D World.
Have you guys seen any of the pictures of the Ambassador edition of the new 3DS over there?
Yes, I have.
I saw a picture of one of the skins or the case.
Yeah, they've
What do
got
they
like
call
the
it?
exclusive face plates
Faceplate,
for
yeah.
the 3DS. I watched again. I watched a unboxing video earlier today, and she actually compared the original 3DS with the new 3DS, and I was surprised how much bigger it was.
It
Actually, it's significantly bigger than the well, not significantly, but it's noticeably bigger than the OG 3DS.
The screen is bigger. The overall
The screen
form
is bigger,
factor
well-
is unchanged. I don't think.
Actually, no, it is a little bit bigger.
No, it is a little bit bigger.
It is a little
Yep.
bit bigger. Not by much. I would say probably, I don't know, maybe half an inch, in dimension-wise, like as far as like,
Or I thought you were in Canada. Isn't it a centimeter?
I know I was translating.
He was being a courteous Canuck and trying to translate for you.
Yeah, about a centimeter in each direction, I would say. Maybe a little bit less. So, and not counting thickness, of course, but obviously, man, I'm super jealous, and I think that this is a sign for us North Americans that it's going to be coming pretty quick here. What do you guys think? Oh, what is that? Was that a 3DS or was that your DS? Just
This is my DS I'm holding up here right now, just kind of taking a look at the, you talk about thickness and size. That's
it's a tiny bit bigger than that.
a
Not by
little
much.
bit bigger. For those of you that are kind of used to the standard DS, this is what the typical DS is. The new
And by
DS
the way, for our audio listeners, which I think is most of our listeners, you can now head over. I know initially we had done YouTube, but Hangouts are not very good. So now we are streaming on Twitch. So twitch.tv/Nintendo Dads. Is that right, Jesse?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
And
And hello
if you follow the Nintendo Dad's
to all
Twitter
those who
account,
are-
whenever we
Fine.
activate the stream,
Yeah, hello,
send a
Twitch.
tweet.
Let me turn on the pipes. Yeah,
So
so
I think there's a couple pieces to this news item that I think we really want to unbundle, right?
okay.
So the first thing I would say is where the hell is ours, right? Like the North American, like we know it's released in Japan. When it was released in October to Japan, October of 2014, very shortly after Nintendo Direct announcement. Oddly enough, right before they released Smash Brothers, which may have may have been a bit of an interesting opportunity there. I do think that in a lot of ways, Smash Brothers was when it was being built, knew that this was in the pipeline to accommodate some of the hardware and software pushes that was happening. I think this means that it's on the horizon for North America, but it was so unceremonious.
It's
In a lot
yeah.
of ways with the European. It was
Well,
just like, hey.
The thing is that I mean, this whole. I think last year we had talked about, or we hadn't talked about it. It was before we had begun the podcast. But Iwata had made some comments about how they were going to try and reward longtime customers with exclusive offers, and we've seen that with the Smash Brothers demo that was sent exclusively to some Club Nintendo members. We saw similar things with the Pokemon demo, and I think this is the first time that it's been an opportunity to paid limited edition merchandise.
Well,
But
the Smash Brothers demo was another good example.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I think it's where it's just totally out of the blue, and I don't even think you can order it other than the Ambassador program, and not all Club Nintendo members got emails about it. And over in Europe, my understanding is I would be totally ticked if I didn't get an email and somebody else gets a chance to get this limited edition 3DS, new 3DS. They get early access to it as well as the fact that they can buy it and I can't. It's the only way to get it right now. So.
And I think some of the commentary I was reading is that they were saying that the new 3DS would be coming out in Europe like in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was a quick turnaround time. Like you were essentially going to be, the new kid on the block with the Ambassador DS for about 2 weeks until the regular ones hit the store or hit the storefront, right? But I do think, to your point, Zach, it's a great spot to see where Nintendo is actually leveraging that Club Nintendo and valuing their customers and saying, here's a great opportunity. I think this was a really cool marketing opportunity for them. I think this is a really great use of that functionality. I guess here's a question: if you guys got that email, would you be dropping the coin for it right away?
Oh yeah, totally. And I mean, it's one of the few sort of situations where it's just like, all right, you got to buy it now. It's not going away. I also think it's interesting that it's not going to be here forever, is what I meant to say. Not that it's not going away. I also think it's interesting that they chose to use the word ambassador, considering what the history of that particular word is with the 3DS. For those who bought the system, and they had to make it up to those people who bought the system early, and how much they paid for the system before the price cut. It's interesting that they would use that wording, just kind of considering the callback there. But anyway, what about you?
Yeah, and really, when you look at it, there's nothing overly special about the system that they're getting that is not over and beyond the current model that you would buy in the store, other than the faceplates. That's really where the differentiating factor here is, right? Is the customized faceplates that says Nintendo Ambassador, and I believe you get a white charging station with it. And I think a charging station might come with the regular one.
Was there a white 3DS, new 3DS in Japan? Yes. Was there an option for a white one? Okay.
Yes, it's white and black on the Famicom build, and then on the XL it's black and blue.
Okay.
Yeah, I like this idea, and I would like to hope that we'd get something similar here. But at the other side, I hope it doesn't happen too soon, because while I expected this thing, and I've said it before, I expect this to be out around March. I'm kind of budgeting my money for end of February, March, to have that money ready to spend it. I'm not going to have that available in January. So if they say on January 15th, here, you could buy it, you've got 2 weeks to do it, I'm going to say, crap, I'm going to have to wait until the real launch, because I can't do it. Not this month.
Yeah, totally. And, it's interesting, Nintendo's, recently seems to be more and more into these limited edition things and driving collectors crazy. But I definitely think it was, like you said, Justin, it was a good move. Good sort of building up anticipation for the 3DS. And for the people who didn't get the limited edition one like they wanted, then they just want to go out and buy that one on day one even more than they would have otherwise. So
the faceplates only work with the smaller system, right?
That's correct. Right. And when we're saying a smaller, it's what they're just calling the 3DS.
The new 3DS.
Yes, XL.
Yeah. So I'm still planning on getting the XL. So faceplates.
And I think that's even an interesting statement. Those faceplates, right? And I mean, I've had the three of us had a bit of a text conversation about yesterday, but even with the faceplates, and Zach,
I have my 3DS decorated with a decal, but.
Zach, you made mention of it a couple moments ago where you said, they put out these limited edition DSs, right? So we just recently in October saw the NES look, right? They did it like an old NES controller. There's a Persona Q one that recently came out. There's a Smash one. With these faceplates now, does the special limited edition DS go out the window?
Well,
is it now just here's the faceplate you can get to commemorate your device?
Well, I think, my opinion, looking at it, what they potentially could be doing is saying, we're really, look at how great this custom market is, but we're also forcing people to buy a new system every time they do it. Why don't we just put out faceplates more often? And then every time, they could do it more often. Every time there's a new game, they could put out faceplates. And people don't have to replace their system. And so in that sense, maybe, at the same time, I think that the 3DS XL is usually where they've been putting the collector's edition or the special edition 3DS XLs anyways. And so I think they're kind of trying to do both at the same time. What were you going to say, Jesse?
Then I'm also can picture third parties, once they get a hold of the specifications of the faceplates, they'll start making their own faceplates with
totally, dude.
With other designs, or even have a custom design service, like I'll give them a picture and they make it to a faceplate, like
Yeah, you know right away as soon as that is a reality, I am going to be going and taking our Nintendo Dad's art and making a custom faceplate.
That'd be fun.
For my, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah.
And I'm also thinking
So-
people will figure out how to turn 3D print their own faceplates.
Mm-hmm.
So, Zach, if this was to come out tomorrow, you would get the regular size, and this is the one.
That's
the,
where
the
I'm
regular
leaning.
size,
Even though,
the regular size one right now is the one that also has the Famicom buttons. The color scheme on that as well.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm leaning. Even though I do have an XL right now, my complaints with the XL since I got it really is because the resolution is the same between the XL and the regular 3DS. It's as far as like pixels per inch, the XL has always looked muddy to me, and didn't have as good a contrast either. And it's not as portable. So when you put it in your pocket, it's pretty ridiculous. So considering that the regular sized new 3DS is a little bit bigger than the current 3DS, I think that's okay. I think that's enough of a jump that it will be tolerable for me, I think so.
And Jesse, you're an XL guy, hey?
Yeah, while I'd have to see what the size of the new 3DS is. I look at the original 3DS. I'm like, I handed it down to my kids, and I'm like, I can't even look at the screen anymore. It's too small. But I will likely stick with the XL.
What about you, Justin? Are you like on the fence?
Yeah, I really am, and I was saying to the guys in the pre-show here that I've got money already earmarked aside for it for when it comes out. I'm on the fence, and the reason is the original, or sorry, the new 3DS. A couple things I love about it, or like about it already. I really like that the Famicom button coloring to that. I think it's a nice ode to the system. I actually kind of like the interchangeable faceplates. I think that's a really cool option and a really cool functionality that allows you to individualize and customize. And I think we see that so much nowadays. And like, hey, what's the phone case you're using for your iPhone and this kind of stuff, and what's the backplate you're using for your MacBook, right? I think that's a really interesting idea. Plus, you can now get the skins that kind of match the paneling.
Yeah.
So I like that.
Yeah, for sure.
But to the same degree, the XL is just that bigger space.
Yeah.
Right, it's a larger screen. There's more
Totally.
playing, and I've been spending a lot of time in the last couple of weeks watching videos, comparison videos between XL and the regular one. So it for me, and I think this almost goes a little bit to the point of I really need to actually get my hands on both of them and decide. Like go into a Best Buy or an EB Games and have both the demo models there and really decide what fits best in my hand and what feels right.
Yeah, you know what? That's a good point. That's one thing that I always kind of had a problem with the regular 3DS is that my hands were so cramped that it was hard to use, and so that is something that I actually hadn't considered. Maybe I will have to see. I haven't entirely made my decision, but the faceplates thing is such a big draw for me that it really is pulling me that direction. But we'll have to see.
Yeah, it's really too bad that they didn't do the faceplates on the XL, but I can understand why, right? You'd have to do remap sizing and remodeling sizes for brand new faceplates, and that's just redonkulous.
Yep, totally. All right, let's move on. We got a couple more stories we want to cover here before we get into our predictions. Number one, there's no big Mario game this year, coming from Bill Trinan, saying no main Mario game. And I think what he means by that is Mario Maker is our Mario game this year, right? Is that what we're understanding that as?
Yeah, that's exactly. I think when he's talking about big Mario games, he's referring to something like a 3D World or a Galaxy, which is what I would call when we look at the levels of Mario that we can see in the Nintendo's ecosystem. 3D or 3D Mario. Galaxy, those are what I would call like the big tentpole ones of Mario, where you would see like these other, kind of, I don't want to say big tentpole ones, but like other levels of Mario, and I think that's where you see stuff like Mario Maker, right,
Yeah.
where the production team hasn't spent copious amounts of time, but it's just a different scope to it.
Yeah, I also saw some comments. I don't know if it was from Trinan or not, but talking about how if this game does well, we may see other maker type games come along as well. So you can imagine the possibility of, oh, Mario Maker did really well. Here's a Zelda Maker. Oh, can you imagine like a sort of create your own overworld and your own dungeons? That would be nuts. I can only imagine the sort of cool things. It almost reminds me of, I don't know if it's on Steam still. I think it's just like called RPG Maker or something like that. That almost goes to a completely different level where you're like creating scripted events and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, it would be cool, even if it was just like strictly like a dungeon creator for Zelda. The sort of top-down Zelda thing. That could be really fun too. So it's possible, or like a Metroid Maker or something like that. All those sorts of things are something that they're willing to at least consider if Mario Maker becomes a really big hit. So
yeah. And I think one of the things that I think you're very much right about, the kind of like the wording that we have here is no big Mario game. We're getting Mario Maker, which I think will satisfy that itch. But for those who are kind of like, where's my Mario game? Oh, I'm so upset about it. Let's really think about, you look at the game industry in 2014, you look at games like Assassin's Creed and Halo that are coming out that are being buggy because the production teams are being pushed to meet a yearly cycle. This, to me, when Nintendo says, via Bill Trinen, there's no big Mario game in 2015, my response is thank you. Because that means that you're taking your time and due diligence to when you roll out 3D World 2 or Galaxy 3, that I know that has the care and love of a Nintendo game, that when I put the disc in there, by the way, I don't need a download patch to fix it, and I can start playing immediately. And that they're spending their time to do a game right, which I think is what Nintendo does better than I think every other company right now. So for me, for them to say there's no big Mario game, great, awesome. In a lot of ways, good. Spend some time focusing on some other of your Nintendo properties. Spend your time on your team on Zelda. Make sure that Star Fox is ready. And hey, where's Metroid in the pipeline? Or is there Pikmin 4 working? Or you've got your IP like Splatoon coming out. So, I would not be frustrated by the fact that we don't have a new Mario in it. I think it's a great thing for Nintendo. I think it's a great thing for our fans, because that means that when our next Mario game comes out, that we actually crave it, right? Because we haven't had a new Mario in X amount of years.
Totally. No, I totally agree. There's so many other things coming that so many other things coming that I think that we're gonna have lots to consume otherwise. So, not to mention the backlog that is continuing to exist, for sure, from late 2014. So, all right, final one here is Jesse. You wrote an article on VGTribune.com titled "Nintendo did not extend the Digital Deluxe promotion." What exactly? Why don't you run us through this? Because I think on January 1st, I saw several articles that were saying that the deluxe promotion had been extended to April 1st. And I think we had kind of discussed this before, and I was like, wait, what? That doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that? So anyways, why don't you run us through that real quick?
Yeah, so if you logged into the Digital Deluxe promotion site after January 1st, you were given this message. Note, the Digital Deluxe promotion will be discontinued on April 1st, 2015. Please exchange your points for an activation code by March 31st, 2015. Activation codes must be redeemed in the Nintendo eShop by June 30th, 2015. So, a lot of news sites took this as, oh, they extended it a few extra months. You can still keep on getting those points. And I'm saying, no. You cannot get more points, and as proof,
that is not what happened.
And as proof, half the reason why I did get Shovel Knight on Wii U was to test the points, and I didn't get any points, and I wasn't surprised. So, basically, and I referenced another article that I posted back in November of 2012, after they initially announced what the DDP was, and basically, they're on the same schedule that they announced over 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So basically, so in other words, basically what we're looking at is you had up until the end of last year to, again, accrue points towards that. You now, if you have any outstanding codes that you need to redeem, you have until the end of March, but you only have until then. After that, you have until the end of June to take that code and put it into the eShop.
Yeah, codes cannot be generated after March 31st, and then codes cannot be used after June 30th. But once you have the eShop credit on your system, they're there forever.
Yeah, makes sense to me. So good, deep hitting investigative journalism there from Jesse. So awesome. Basically, just read the instructions, and everything will work out.
RTFM. Read the
on a general note, I don't want to go down too deep on a rabbit hole on this one. I think this was a mistake of Nintendo not to extend that and to extend it indefinitely through their life cycle of the Wii U. And the reason I say that is we're starting to see them gain some great traction on the indie game front. And I think this would be a great opportunity to continue that promotion. It's a minimal, it's such a minimal cost for them. It's very low maintenance.
It's a very big. It was for me. It was a very big incentive to just buy more games. Frankly, and I think I made I spent quite a bit of money on the eShop. Buying all of my games digitally, and so I think that it's too bad that we're not going to be getting those codes anymore, because that was pretty awesome.
And you can figure out how much I spent on it, considering I've redeemed 14 codes, and I was 60 points away from getting the 15th code.
Oh, man. Yeah, I think I got like 9 codes or something like that, which is, over $400 then, right? So, yeah, wow. That's a deep look into your own soul on that one. So, all right. Well, with that, I think we're going to go into our 2015 predictions. All right. 2015 predictions. So here's what I'm thinking, gentlemen. I think we'll each take turns. We'll just do one at a time, give a prediction, and so it'll maybe go like Justin, Jesse, me, and we'll go around in a circle, and we'll sort of jump onto each other's predictions and discuss them one at a time and go from there. So does that sound good, everybody?
Love it.
All right, Justin, why don't you start us off with your first prediction for 2015?
So my first prediction for 2015 is that we will get a Metroid game announced on the Wii U. I don't necessarily know what the development company will be that's making it, but I feel like this will be an announcement that we will get at E3, and that it will be slated for, let's say, either late 2014 or 15, early 2016 launch.
Okay, so by the way, another thing I didn't mention is that we're going to keep copious notes on this, or we'll go and revisit this at the end of this year. But we're going to have next year, this time, we're going to have a revisiting of these predictions, and we're going to declare a winner as well. So let's make these as, like, if you want to be vague, that's fine. But, we're holding accountability here just to make it interesting. So...
I'm adding those digital notes now then in my comments.
Okay, so you're saying late 2015 or early 2016?
Yeah, but I think we will get the announcement for sure. I just think that they're starting to run out of some. I don't want to say running out of their IPs, but I just think that this is one they have to hit.
Yeah, for sure. I actually have that on. I'm going to just jump in, and I also have Metroid announced at E3. I'm going to say no date. I'm going to say. Similar to some of the other trailers that we've seen where it may not even have too much gameplay yet, but it will definitely be something that we'll see. It's not going to be a focal point, I guess, is what my point is that it's. I feel like it's not going to be. My prediction is it won't be a focal point of E3. I think they're going to save Star Fox and Zelda for that, and then that will be more of a teaser for next year. Similar to maybe what they did when they announced Other M or something like that, where it's like, oh, it's coming, and then we'll get a huge shebang in 2016 for that. But
I think it'll just be a little like, hey,
yeah,
here's a screenshot or a piece of art.
And so, but you still think it's going to be out by the end of this year?
I think the end of 2015 or early 2016 is my guess.
Okay, cool.
And
All right.
I also had Metroid showing up, though I didn't write down any specific date. But if I were to guess at a date, I would think it would be more like early summer 2016.
Okay.
And what I'm hoping for is another either back in the 2D realm or a hybrid like Other M. I really didn't like the Prime games. I actually tried to replay Prime 1 last week, and it really was painful to play it because I dislike shooters that much. I cannot play a first-person shooter and enjoy it. I've never liked one, but so I never got into the Prime series. So I'm hoping for one more, like another M-like game.
Oh, okay. And see, I think that I'm feeling like we're gonna get a
I have a feeling it will be 3D, and I'm going to get lynched for what I just said. But yeah,
You're hopeful.
I'm hoping
Okay,
it's not.
I'm feeling like it's gonna be. I'm feeling like I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's gonna be Metroid Prime something. I don't necessarily think they'll call it Metroid Prime 4, but it'll be like
Electric Boogaloo.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, and it'll be there will be disco balls. No. It's gonna
That you turn into.
It's gonna be retro. It's gonna be Metroid Prime. That's my feeling. So yeah, that's my feeling. What about you, Justin? You said you're not sure who's gonna announce it or who's gonna be publishing it.
I don't know who's going to be publishing it. I feel like Rare, maybe.
Or I guess we should be saying developing, not publishing. Nintendo will probably publish it.
Yeah, I think it was Rare who did it last time, right?
No,
Retro.
No,
it was retro.
Retro. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Prime ones were retro. I think it was
Team Ninja did other.
Team Ninja
Team
was
Ninja.
other.
Yeah. But we'll see.
Awesome. So that is, I think all three of us have the Metroid,
and
all three of us are a little bit different.
I
So
also hope it is not as verbose. As Other
nice. Yeah, that was a pretty verbose
M.
game.
Other M was a good game. It was just way too story heavy.
Yeah, totally. All right, Jesse, why don't you hit us off with the next prediction?
All right, and I'm kind of peeking at what Justin has here, and it's a lot of duplication. What I have, I said that they were going to announce a new Mario 3D game. Could be Galaxy 3, could be something completely new that I expect will be in the holiday 2016 slot.
Okay.
They may not announce the release date, but that's kind of where I think it'll land.
Okay. And so you feel like they're just going to announce that this year then?
Yeah, they'll announce it, but they won't release it to hold what Bill Trinan said true, that they won't have any new big Mario games released in 2015.
Okay.
Didn't say anything about announcing anything.
Okay. How do you feel about that one, Justin?
Yeah, I mean, actually, Jesse just took the words like right out of my mouth. I 100% agree. I think it might be a Super Mario Galaxy 3 look at it. So either which way, I do think he's right. I do think that Bill's statement of there will not be one released in 2015 is correct. But I do believe that there will be one announced in 2015 for a 2016 release. Where that date is tough to say, but I would probably agree with Jesse that the holiday 2016 makes sense of what we've traditionally seen Nintendo do. So that seems to be, I'd agree with him for sure there. And I think that Mario Maker kind of supplements.
Yeah, that holiday slot puts it 2 years after 3D World, so I don't think it makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
Crazy. Okay. See, I'm feeling like, given their past history, and I'm just going to be a little bit contradictory here, and maybe that's just my nature. I don't know, but I feel like that if they, not that necessarily that they aren't going to have a Mario game in 2016, like the big Super Mario Galaxy 3 or whatever. I feel like they probably will have that. Although my thought is that it will probably be something completely different and not a continuation of Galaxy. But I feel like they were not going to announce that this year. They don't want to overcrowd. They don't want to overcrowd their E3 stuff, and so they want to make sure that they. And not only that, but they seem to be announcing things closer to release within the past several years as well. So that's just my take on that, though. But
That's a good observation, Zach.
so, all right. Well, my first prediction
Actually, I want to
is
make a quick correction. It will not. I said 2 years. It'll be 3 years between 3D World and 2016
okay.
because 2014 had Smash.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, my first prediction is that we will get our annual Pokemon game like we always do, but it will not be a continuation of X and Y. It will not be Pokemon Z. It will not be, it will be something totally new and different, and possibly. And again, adding on to this same prediction is that it will have some sort of new 3DS functionality. Whether that kind of like what we were talking about earlier, where the engine will run better. Maybe it will be 3D all the time. That would be wonderful. And I also suspect that there may be amiibo functionality in that as well. Although what that is, it could tie into Pokemon cards. It could be figurines. It could be something. But I think that Pokemon is an excellent game to roll out amiibo functionality on the new 3DS. So
are you thinking of this to be like another Gen 6 game, or is this the start of a Gen 7?
I feel like it would probably be a Gen 7. Oh, shoot. Now that I'm saying that.
Because DS did have 2 generations in it.
Yeah. I feel like they're just going to go straight into Gen 7. I'm going to just make that prediction is that it will be Gen 7, and it will be I also feel like it's going to be announced between now and February, the end of February. That's
like this year, the next 2 months.
Yeah, that's what they've done the last 2 years. Is they've announced them very early in the year, and then just they have that slow trickle of news out before between now, and it's just like a constant news cycle with Pokemon lately. So that's my prediction is between now and the end of February we will have an announcement. We will know what the new game is.
And I think in there, Zach, I'm actually going to kind of piggyback on your comments there. I think there's a couple of interesting things that you pointed out. Your statement of it'll have new 3DS / Amiibo features. We've heard Nintendo talk about in some recent press releases that they're looking at moving the Amiibos not only beyond the physical realm of like here's your plastic figure, here's your toy, but also into the potential trading card scenario. And I think the 3DS, with its 2 rear-facing cameras that use the AR cards, this is a prime example of where we could see an Amiibo Pokemon trading set come in, right? So you've got your Amiibo Pokemon set, you lay the cards down, your new 3DS uses that, activates the Amiibos in their AR, and then moves them in.
Yeah, totally. In fact, I'm actually just going to, I have another prediction as well that we might as well just talk about now, is that Amiibo, we're going to see, other than the Smash Brothers continuation of Smash Brothers Amiibo figures, we're going to see a significant shift away from the sort of Disney Infinity / Skylanders toy comparison, and we're going to see them be much smaller. And they've talked a lot about trading cards, and I think that we're going to see them become more affordable and easier to collect, and also easier to manufacture, in bulk and without all these sort of supply issues. If they move to more of a trading card scenario or maybe smaller figures. So, what do you guys think about that one?
I'm not sure if I. Yeah, I don't think I'd be interested in this Amiibo / AR thing, but I'm sure the kids would love it. But
right. Well, I guess basically part of I think that then again, now that I'm saying that, part of why they've really been talking about this, the Amiibo, is that for the functionality within the game, there will be cards. I guess my prediction is that there will be cards by the end of next year that will allow you to do the same functionality. If you want to collect the figures, that's totally that they'll still continue producing something for collectors that is Amiibo.
Going off of Miyamoto's comment.
Yeah, exactly. Where I think that by the end of next year, we will have that all in place so that you can get them if you want them. So there will be Marth cards, there will be Villager cards, there will be Little Mac cards, so that people who want to use them in games can use them in games. But the collectors, I guess more to the spirit of what I'm trying to say is that the production will be leveled out as well for that. Whether that's big or small, actually maybe we'll scale back a little bit on that and hold back on exactly what form the figures are. But I think the cards will be fully in play by next holiday season. So, any other thoughts on that, or are we heading back over to Justin?
Yeah, I agree with your statements on that, Zach. I don't disagree with that at all, actually. Yeah, so flipping back to my next statement, I have said it earlier. I will say it again. You can go back to things like episode 5 and 7. I've mentioned this. I believe Zelda Wii will be launched in 2015 for sure by Nintendo. I know that Miyamoto recently mentioned it during the press conference. They talked about that, said that yes, or during the award games, that yes, it will be ready for 2015. I think this is their flagship 1 week before Black Friday game that they released, just like it was Smash this year and like it was 3DS last year. So they will move heaven and earth to make sure this game is in 2015.
Yeah, and after seeing the Game Awards thing, I was the naysayer saying I don't see it this year, but now I'm more confident that it'll happen in 2015.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that's a pretty safe bet. Although I don't know. They've said that so many times before though that I'm just like, you burned me so many times, and then we end up waiting like another 2 years. But
yeah, because as I said before, Zelda has a history of being pushed. Just look at Twilight Princess. That shouldn't have never been a Wii game, but that got pushed so far back. It was a dual generation release.
Yeah, but hey, that sounds awesome. That sounds like a good bet. Jesse, what have you got next?
Something that I don't know if I'd like to see it or not, but I think that they might do it. Going along the lines of amiibo cards. They're obviously going to have cards available. Say someone says I want like the Marth card, but I think what they'll also do is they'll have it kind of like not kind of like the way you buy booster cards for Pokemon the card game or Magic the Gathering or pack of bubblegum pack of baseball cards, but you'll get like a blind bag which may feature one specific character, and so I'm going to get this Marth. I know there's a Marth in here, but there's going to be like 3 or 4 other cards in there that will be random.
Okay, so your prediction is that we're going to have blind packs of amiibo cards, but they will have transparent fronts. Is that?
Yeah, like you'll see the first card. So if someone who wants the Pikachu or someone wants the Kirby, they'll be able to get it, but there'll be other cards that are still randomized out in addition to the one known card.
Okay.
I like the Pokemon has done this before. Like
so like the tins or whatever that the Pokemon
tins.
Okay,
has
for sure.
A deck, 4 boosters, and this specific card.
Okay, so you're not saying that not necessarily all amiibo packs would hold.
Right. No, like
would be transparent.
There will be like several, just like they have several SKUs of amiibo. There'll be several SKUs of amiibo card packs. So you'll get the Marth pack, you'll get the Mario pack, you'll get the Peach pack, and then you could just have other cards in it as well.
Now let's maybe I just want to ask about this as well for a minute. But how do we feel that like the amiibo cards are going to be rolled out? Like, are we talking? They're just going to be like, are we talking like the card game model of collectible cards, or are we talking tradable cards? Or are we talking about like the baseball card model, where it's like this is a picture of my character, or this is a card that I can use to play a game? Like, what do you guys think we're going to do, or is there a third option that I'm not considering?
I think it'll be more like baseball cards. You know, like it'll have a picture, might have a stat. Some I don't know what type of stats you do in Mario, but at least maybe a paragraphs of story from a certain game. I don't know what they can do with it.
I would almost think a history, but possibly.
Yeah, like an anthology.
And are we going to see these in? Are we going to see these in like Walmart, or are these going to be something that is only sold like GameStop exclusive or Amazon?
I hope not exclusive.
Yeah, or like, because I'm thinking about like when Kid Icarus Uprising came out and they had those AR cards, and they had tons of AR cards, but they were so hard to get a hold of. And I'm hoping they don't have a repeat of that sort of a scenario where it was really hard to get a hold of all those cards, and eventually the internet just decided to scan all of their cards, and there was a database somewhere on some forum where everybody just like
somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. And so I mean, it's different with AR cards versus NFC chips, but yeah, I think I'm kind of with you though.
I think once you start issuing out cards like the typical pack of cards that you would see, to baseball or to hockey cards, in Canada, for example, the location by which you expect it to show up changes by what the product is, right? So I almost expect to pick up those type of cards at like the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
Right. It changes its location a little bit and based on what it is.
Yeah.
Right. But in the same regards, I could very much see a wall dedicated to it in, or up at the front counter in EB Games. Right. Like, hey, by the way, you're grabbing an amiibo and a card or a game. Here's a card pack.
Or even like a comic book shop or something like that. That's what makes me ask about about like, is this going to be a game somehow? It'd be interesting. So.
Like even within a Walmart, where amiibos are currently with the games, but this product, if they make it, would be with their collectible card section with
right
with the Pokemon, with the Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I wonder too. What was I gonna? I had something else on that, but I lost it. Goodbye.
But it was awesome, I'm sure.
It was awesome, and it was great, and
we'll hear about it in about 5 minutes.
Yeah, probably. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. I think. I remember what it was. I'm going to say, and maybe just piggybacking off of yours, going straight into mine. And again, it seems like the more that we talk about this, the more I'm getting more predictions, which is kind of what I suspected it would be. But I feel like we're going to see the platinum awards this year for Club Nintendo in North America are definitely going to include Amiibo in some way. Whether it's like exclusive Club Nintendo Amiibo figures or exclusive cards, I don't know what it is, but I think that one of those two things is pretty likely. So,
that's where the Reggie Amiibo is going to come into play.
Yes, yes. Yeah, it definitely can't be a worse platinum award than last year.
Yeah, I think if they are actually listening, I think that we will get some sort of physical reward for Club Nintendo.
I'd love it if the gold is the Reggie.
Last year I crapped on Nintendo pretty bad in an article
that was
posted. I wasn't happy at all.
Sorry, what were you saying, Justin?
I said I'd love if the gold was Reggie and the platinum was Mr. Miyamoto amiibos.
Yeah.
Dressed up in like their Smash, Super Smash Brothers.
Or like
kits.
Iwata, like Reggie and Iwata. Like the E3 reveal of the Mii Fighters last year.
Yep.
Now that I would actually, probably pay money to get the other one on eBay after getting the one.
Or even just have both of them on a single single Amiibo or something. In like some sort of like dynamic striking pose with like fists forward, one elevated above the other, engaged in extreme battle or something. I don't know. But I'm not necessarily going to say it's going to be a figure. I think it would even be, I'll even be conservative and say it may just be a pack of cards, or like it may be like some exclusive cards, like a pack of 10 exclusive platinum only amiibo cards isn't a possibility there. But that is my guess for that. Back to you, Justin.
So my next point I have down is that I think Nintendo will experiment or continue to experiment with this $40 price range that we saw them use for Captain Toad. I think with Mario Maker sitting on the horizon in 2015, and even Kirby and maybe potentially Yoshi. Not potentially those games that they're coming up, they are coming up, but I think that you might start seeing Nintendo trying a different price point to see how they're going to engage people in it. So I think that'll be an interesting move for them.
I think that actually Kirby, the pricing has been announced overseas, and it is falling in the same range as Captain Toad. So
yeah, 45, right? I think
45 in Canada. Yeah. So
yeah, which is exactly what Captain Toad was.
Yeah. So I think we should be. I think that's a totally safe prediction. I think that's very. I'm trying to think if there's and I mean they've even been doing this for a while on the 3DS as well, where you're seeing some games at 30, some games at 40, depending on what what kind of game it is. So yeah, no, I totally agree. I would like to see more. I wouldn't be surprised if Star Fox hit that range actually. If it ended up being more of an arcadey type game and less of a full blown AAA
and generally
sort of
shorter.
I think with them, I think with Star Fox, Zach, you're going to see like a $50.
Yeah, similar to like
Donkey
Wind
Kong.
Waker or Donkey Kong. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to hit the 65 that you did for Smash. This comment that I made regarding the kind of the $40 model that Nintendo's going to play with will kind of tie into another prediction I have a little bit later, and I'll make those connective tissues when we get there.
Very cool. All right, next one, Jesse.
Okay, similar to the NES Remix games we had last year, I think that Nintendo will have two new something, but small eShop games. I think there'll be two of them.
Two new eShop. For which? Sorry.
For Wii U.
Okay.
But along the vein of like NES Remix, not
so almost like a super.
Well, not necessarily an SNES Remix, but just something bite-sized.
Mm-hmm.
Just something that's new, something that they spring on us that says, "Hey, this will be out tomorrow." Very similar to what they did with NES Remix. I think there's going to be two of them. One probably late summer, one probably close to the November or October.
Yeah, totally. So one around E3. Would you say? I can see
E3,
them saying, getting up at an E3 and saying, "By the way, here's this weird game. It's available right now."
And because like when Steve Jobs used to do that for Apple shows, people goes nuts over that.
I remember even the first year that the 3DS was out, they were like, "Oh, by the way, we made this weird 3D version of Excitebike. Go get it right now for free, and we're gonna keep it free for however long they kept it free for." Yeah,
and it was like. Because I was there at that E3, and that was the E3 that they patched in eShop.
Yeah, that's right. The eShop wasn't available right at launch.
Right.
Yeah. Very cool. No, I like that idea. I love those. And again, they've been doing that on the 3DS as well. Like my runner-up eShop game was Rusty's Real Deal Baseball. Super weird, game, and I am really excited to see them continue that. That seems really fun. Any particular kind of games you'd like to see, Jesse?
No, I'm just hoping for something. Well, of course, now that I think about it, they did announce last year they're kind of those projects that Miyamoto was working on, which is probably.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
I completely forgot about that.
Project Guard and Project Giant Robot.
Right. That's probably what these will end up being, but yeah.
I feel like one of those two. I feel like Giant Robot, may end up getting bundled into something like Star Fox, but
that's possible.
It's a possibility, at least. I don't know.
Yeah. Though I wasn't a big fan of the NES Remix titles, and if they do a SNES Remix title, I'll probably still buy it. but kind of will be reluctant on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm hoping for something new.
Very cool. All right. Justin, do you have anything to add to that?
I think Jesse's probably right on the money with that. I think we're going to see a little bit of a reshift in the eShop over the next year. I think these are two things that they're going to do to make these changes, but I also think they're going to try and focus on seeing if they can bring out any N64 stuff. I know that we've talked about that, like that rendering the graphics. I think they're still going to try and release some of that content.
Mm-hmm. All right. Awesome. So my next one, I'm going to basically give you the three. So this year, the three big titles that we had. I guess there was four, which makes this a little bit more difficult. But we had Hyrule Warriors, Bayonetta 2, a Smash, and Captain Toad on the Wii U, right? So I'm going to predict that Star Fox is going to fill the space that was either Hyrule Warriors or Bayonetta 2, and then we're going to see Zelda fill the Smash Brothers one, and Animal Crossing for Wii U as the Captain Toad of Holiday 2015.
So Zach, you're basically providing the Q4 Q4 slot predictions, then, yeah?
I think so. Yeah, that's basically my prediction is that we're going to see, and we've already heard Star Fox will be out before Zelda. Zelda is the perfect Black Friday sort of, or the week before Black Friday that they've done for the past several years, and we've been hearing rumblings of Animal Crossing for long enough, and they have the assets from the Animal Crossing Plaza on Wii U for an Animal Crossing game that I feel like the time is ripe for them to release an Animal Crossing game on Wii U. So that is my prediction, and I also predict that there will be some sort of it will be widely established or talked about as the best console Animal Crossing game, but again, slightly disappointing in that they didn't do too much super exciting on that differs it from New Leaf on the 3DS. Although there will be connectivities, well, I don't know if they even necessarily would patch in backwards compatibility to New Leaf, but we may. It basically will be a glorified port of New Leaf is my prediction. So, which is probably a little bit of a depressing prediction, but but I'm gonna hold to it anyways.
So I wonder, I think Zach, you did a great job predicting the Q3 and Q4. What do you see then as the lineup? And maybe Jesse, you can ring in on this. What do you see as the lineup then for Q1 and Q2 regarding timing and sequencing of these the games that we do now that are in the hopper, which include Kirby, Yoshi, Mario Maker, Mario Party 10, Splatoon. Where do you see those lying?
Wasn't Kirby announced for February?
Kirby's February. I know that.
That's right.
Yeah, Kirby's February. I think. We're going to see Yoshi. Oh, let me see. I think Mario Party is going to be one of those weird ones that is announced and released like within a month. I think they're not super excited about that game, although they have been talking about it. I don't think that there's going to be too much fanfare.
I think that'll be Q3.
You think so?
Yeah, or early Q3, like August.
Yeah, I was going to say earlier than that, but. And then I think Yoshi. I think we may see something like Yoshi and Splatoon announced or released very close to each other. Yarn Yoshi's been around long enough that I think they need to release that.
Yeah, I think so.
So I think Splatoon and Yarn Yoshi, I wouldn't be surprised if they were very close to each other.
Yeah, I think they'll all be released before E3.
Yeah, I think Splatoon is the perfect sort of releasing like the week. I think it was a couple.
Like around Memorial Day.
Yeah, like what's Memorial Day May? Sorry,
yeah,
okay.
Which is where your Mario Kart 8 slot was this year.
Yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, I think Mario Kart 8 and Splatoon is that's the exact spot I foresee that to be, so for sure. But I guess to like solidify my actual prediction as for the sake of accountability or whatever, I'm specifically going to say Animal Crossing is early December. So,
okay.
So
You
yeah,
heard it here, people.
jot it down in your notebook, people. Uh, Justin, back to you.
Let me go through my notes here. I got a couple other things here. Price range DLC. I think we will see some kind of rollout for DLC in Smash. I've talked about this in the past before. I think we will see some type of formalized announcement. I think we are going to see that right around E3 time.
Mm-hmm.
I think is when we're going to get like a Nintendo Direct about it. Or there's going to be just the subtle announcement of like, oh, hey, by the way, this is now available for you, kind of like we did for the Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
What if they put if they just, as part of their E3 presentation, they just kind of have this random, similar to what they did with the Mewtwo reveal, where all of a sudden they just show video of a new fighter in Smash Brothers. Maybe it's the Inklings from Splatoon. Maybe it's something like that. Where do you think that they would do something like that at E3?
I think they could. I think they could do it at E3 as well. I do think it will be within the first half of the year for sure. E3
Because we do have Mewtwo coming for. I think it's coming around the same time as. No, I think it's May. I think it's
is it?
maybe.
I think it's March.
What-
The sound,
Is it?
we're supposed to get information on the soundtrack sometime this month, and I think YouTube
Yeah.
comes out in March.
Well, we do have to
I'll-
remember, like there is still a secondary patch they have to put into it, into Smash Brothers that allows for like the tournaments and stuff. So I think that's going to be in that patch will be the code that allows the DLC to occur, which is why no one has found it yet because it's not existing yet. And then I think from there, I think you're going to see it in maybe E3.
So you think Mewtwo will eventually be purchasable and not just only to those who bought both games?
Oh, I think so. Yeah.
They've said as much. Yeah, they've basically said that it is going to be available for purchase. So
The moment they said that, the new DLC was in the pipe.
yeah, because that's exactly what they have, right?
Yeah.
To May.
But it'll be interesting because I think when we looked at Mario Kart, Kart's DLC was announced 4 months after the game was out.
Yeah.
But was not released until 7 months after, or 6.5, and then a full year cycle later
Yeah,
on their
totally.
last patch.
Yeah, and I think as well, just to kind of go on and continue what you're saying, I also think. Do you have any specific ideas for characters?
I think you're right, Zach. I think we will see like the Splatoon folk make a move in there. Maybe we'll see the Pikmin kids come on in, because they're not in there, are they currently? Is Pikmin?
No, yeah, Splatoon isn't. I think my prediction as well is that Ice Climbers will be brought back. Even if it's just for the Wii U version, I think maybe they will. No, they won't do that. But I really do. I'm going to predict it, even though they keep telling me it's impossible. Ice Climbers 2015 Smash Brothers. Dare to dream, people.
Well,
If anything,
maybe
you know what? There's the episode title, "Dare to Dream."
Yeah, seriously.
I gotta write that down. Yeah, but
Yeah.
it may be impossible on the original 3DS hardware, but I would imagine it'd be they have more wiggle room with the new 3DS and the Wii U.
Okay, so on the Club Nintendo website or on the Smash Brothers website right now, they say you need to register both games by March 31st, 2015 to receive the DLC codes, and that the download codes will be available spring 2015. So I'm guessing that is somewhere between October. No, between April and June, right? March and June. So yeah. Anyway. So who are we at here? Jesse, is that you? Do you have any more?
Yeah, I have a few more. For not a game related one, but just general E3, I think they're going to continue with the same format that they enhanced last year, which they started the year before, where there will be no big media event at Nokia Theater. Though the Smash tournament they had instead was kind of sounded kind of awesome. But they'll have all day streaming events. I think that it went well for them last year, and I think they're going to want to continue with that. They got people talking, not throughout the entire week about, oh, Nintendo did this and Nintendo did this, instead of just on their Tuesday morning show.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Jesse. And the caveat I would kind of click into that is part of the Dare to Dream initiative, is I would love to see them allow for the week of E3, whatever playable demo occurs there, you have access to it in your eShop, whether it be through Wii U or 3DS.
I love that idea.
I've been asking.
I love that idea.
For 2
It'll
years.
never occur.
I know.
Yeah.
I did the Best Buy stand in line for empty hours event for the last 2 years, and if they do that again this year, I don't think I'm going to do it again. It was,
It would depend. Yeah, you say that until they announce that the new Zelda is playable, and then you will do it.
Then I will do it.
And then we're all sitting in tents.
Because I stood in line for 3 hours to play 5 minutes of Smash, of which I didn't know what I was doing.
Yeah. No, last year was like totally. It was 100% Smash Brothers. But I went up to
one
Calgary.
kiosk, please.
Oh, totally.
If they did
Yeah.
that, it wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah, I actually went up to the Best Buy in Calgary that they did it for the last 2 years. I don't know if you did, Justin, but
No, I did not.
yeah, no, I was like, all right, well, hi, honey. I see that you need your passport renewed. Why don't we do it on this day? And so, we went up and did it. We did it both years, and it was a lot of fun. But I agree, it would be great to just have some sort of a downloadable, even an app that that they have created for Nintendo E3 at home, and it has like short, demos and whatnot. I think that would be really cool. They would have to definitely create it specifically for home in mind, right? And I think that we're probably not going to get more than one demo doing that. They may, or one or two possibly, but
and even if they only last for like the week, and then it's kind of like a self-destruct after 5 days.
yeah, exactly.
I just think that you create, when you look at something like the way that they're reaching directly out to the audience through the Nintendo Directs, the streams that they're having, they're looking for ways to engage their fans in different contexts. And I think by trying to almost to pull them into E3 by allowing the opportunity to play these games, I think really could be a huge draw that no one else is doing at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, kind of going off of yours as well, Jesse, just to talk about that, I think that they learned a lot of lessons with their, like, last year it was great, but it was very clear that these people who are doing it are not professionals, and I don't necessarily think they need to get professional sort of media types. These were the nerds in the treehouse running the show.
And that's what I like to see.
And it was great, but I think that I think that the proof of concept is done, and they need to I suspect that they'll wrap it up to the next level, and we'll see a little bit more production value. The production value on the last year was a little bit iffy at times, and you'd like hear them like messing with their mics on the stream and stuff like that. And so I think that there will be more polish this year.
Yeah, during the last E3, that was this exact week that my wife just chose to have our family vacation. So so I wasn't able to do the live blogging like I normally do on most of the events, and so I did the Best Buy event in San Antonio, Texas. Everyone
Nice.
else decided, so we picked that day for everyone else to do Schlitterbahn, and it's a water theme park.
Oh, I see. Okay.
And I don't do water well. I purposely planned them to do it that day so I can spend the day at Best Buy. And it worked out
Nice.
great.
That's awesome. So yeah, no, I think that's pretty good. That's a good bet. Awesome. Let me see, what else do I have here?
Zach, I think you're next, sir.
I think so. What do I have that we haven't already talked about? Kind of running out here. Other than, I think that we are going to get some sort of an Amiibo exclusive, and this kind of goes to why they would be wanting to push out this the cards and whatever. But we're going to have an Amiibo focused game, and maybe it's Jesse. Maybe this is one of your two weird ones, where it's just like suddenly it's announced, but we're going to have an Amiibo focused game on the eShop by the end of this year, where it's 100% powered by your Amiibos, and from the sort of playbook of Skylanders Disney Infinity, where you really can't play it without Amiibos. It will be a free download off of the eShop, and the only way that you can play it is if you have Amiibos.
Yeah, it would have to be free if they did that, but that might entice me to get another figure or two.
Silenced. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty solid idea. Like,
so I'm not sure exactly what I'm not sure exactly what form that would. I think there are a few different things that they could do with that. They could, on one hand, what they could do is have a sort of similar to what they've done with like a Pokemon Ranch, where literally all you do is scan all of your Amiibos in, and then you have them there. You can interact with them or whatever, and just see them in 3D. That's one possibility. Another possibility is that they could go the more Disney Infinity Skylanders route and have some sort of a game where you're using your characters as as your Amiibos as characters in the game. Although I kind of think that they would charge for something like that because there would be a significant development cost. So maybe a sort of Tamagotchi thing too, right? Where it's just like, oh, this is my Amiibo. I don't know. But I feel like they're going to have something that is strictly like it has the Amiibo name. It's the Amiibo game, basically. So. So yeah. Justin, you have any more? I think that's pretty much all I have.
I have one final prediction.
Okay.
And this is a bit of a long-term prediction over the next couple of years for Nintendo. Earlier, Zach, you kind of made the comment that a couple of mine were pretty safe bets, and they are. But my comment here is that we will see a slow death of the 3DS and Wii U, and that the next-gen console system will be a merging of these two systems, both the DS and the Wii U, that allows you to have it at home, play it, but also have it being portable. And I think this is where we're starting to see this price range shifting of Nintendo. We've seen them reduce price in some of their Wii U price games to that $40, $45 mark for kind of like their lower tier ones. But on the 3DS perspective, we've seen them push up to $40 and $45. So they're aiming in this bracket.
$50 if you're Atlas.
Yeah, exactly. But so we're seeing this kind of middle ground that they're finding between the two systems for a price point that I think they're going to settle in on. And when this new system, whatever we want to deem it, the Nintendo 3DU is launched.
Oh gosh!
is launched. You will see those price points be at about $40 for the games, no matter how it's being used.
So Nintendo Fusion.
And I think that will be a 2017 rollout or announcement, but that's what I'm thinking.
Nintendo 3DU. You heard it here, folks. First, people.
Patent trademarked Nintendo Dads Corporation.
Let's hope that one doesn't come to fruition.
Wow. No, I definitely do. I think I agree with you on that. That we are going to see them. They're going to try and I think ride the 3DS out as long as they can, so that they can launch both at once. Because they need they need a successor to the Wii U, and there is a pretty significant install base for the 3DS, and so yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet. I think it makes sense to me, that we're going to see that we would see them both phased out at the same time, or they may even try and pull the same thing they did with the Game Boy Advance, where it's it's a third pillar, and so the 3DU is going to be the third pillar, or the as the rumors said quite a while ago, the Fusion right? Where that would be the third pillar.
I like
Um,
Fusion.
And I don't really think that we are. I think we are one generation away from this. I really do. You know, I think
I
when you
agree.
look at the fundamental basics of the Wii U, it's a DS in your living room, folks.
Yeah.
Like that's the way it works.
Yeah.
And I've
you
been
look at-
saying this for like 3 years now, that I think the next console will be a hybrid.
Yeah, and I think that when the hardware and software or the hardware teams merged for the Wii U and the 3DS, I think that another one of those signs that they've been together for quite a while now, and there's no reason for them not to do it. It's not like they're going to have a significant dip in sales necessarily if they're able to sell. Most of their sales lately, or most of their profit, is all in software anyways. And so why not have development aimed at the Nintendo console instead of splitting their development costs onto two different install bases? That makes total sense to me. Makes sense. Jesse, you got any other ones?
I have one more kind of off the wall one, which would actually be a very good launch title for that 3DU.
You're loving that name now, aren't you, Jesse?
No. How about like an HD remake of Mario 64 and Sunshine, and maybe even like a 3-pack with Galaxy. Like have multiple games in HD remake in one bundle.
So a remake of a bunch of different 3D Mario games.
Yeah, you give them the proper HD treatment.
Mm-hmm. Very cool.
Because I think one of my favorite levels in Galaxy 2 was the level that remade a level from N64 and Mario 64, and I would love to see that whole thing redone.
Cool. Right on. I'm actually going to throw in one more that I just thought of, which I keep coming up with these, and they're probably going to just kill my ratings, so to speak, or whatever. But I definitely think that actually this is a safe prediction, but I thought I'd bring it up. We're going to hear about the quality of life platform, and it will be detailed and on sale this year. And it'll probably be something that we're not that excited about. It won't be that exciting.
Like pillows.
Like they talked about like the sleep tracker thing. Well, they haven't talked about it, but they had apparently had some sort of deal with the sleep tracking, the sleep sensor, and so it's going to be something like that.
Maybe Luigi needs it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, just sort of the Mario and Luigi game. There will be some tie-ins there. No, there won't be. But I think that it's gonna end up. They may even call it something like the Vitality Sensor and take that trademark and put it in something else. But we're gonna see them do that. It will be awkward. It will be something that not a lot of. It'll be kind of a weak rollout. Is my suspicion on that.
And you just put my favorite memory from E3 back into my head. Thank you.
Vitality Sensor.
Did I tell you that story?
No. What?
Okay, kind of. So, you know how Nintendo has the closed door roundtable sessions.
Yeah.
There was one with the developers. So they had. It was just we asked a question. The format is normally we ask a question in English because we're Americans. Their translator, Bill or someone else, would then translate it to Japanese. The developer would think about it a minute, answer in Japanese, and then translator would then answer again in English. So one of the questions was, what happened to the vitality sensor? And since the Japanese word for vitality sensor is vitality sensor, Miyamoto stands up and, in the best English he can muster, next question. That was awesome.
That's great. Where he's just like, shut up. I don't want to hear about it.
Yep. And
Everybody be quiet.
And they did rattle off their official canned answer that we already knew about because they said it a month ago, but it was still funny.
That's awesome. I love those sort of live Q&A things, it seems like there's always weird questions. Like last year, I think there was something about, how come Mewtwo's not in Smash Brothers, and then now we actually have Mewtwo DLC. But at the time, even Sakurai was like, "Oh, we'll think about it, maybe. I don't know." So, yeah, that sounds awesome. Very cool. Well, I think that just about does it. Let's wrap it.
I have my joke prediction that I give every year.
Oh, perfect.
Mother 3.
Yes, Mother 3. As somebody who has played Mother 3, yes, in fact,
I only played about the first 2 hours of it.
Yeah, in fact, those of you who have played through Mother 3 probably do recognize our bumpers, including this one, which will lead us into our wrap-up. That is from Mother 3 as well, so enjoy that, people.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. Your ears can thank me later. Whatever that means.
Whatever that means.
What?
Well, if they want to thank us later, a couple ways that they can do that is they can follow us on Twitter at Nintendo Dads. You can also like us on Facebook, on our Facebook page, which is Nintendo Dads, just one word. You can follow us on Instagram, Nintendo Dads. You can email us at nintendodads@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your input. How do you like the show? What questions do you have for us? Do you agree? Do you disagree? What are your predictions for 2015? We'd love to do that. You can also follow us on Twitch, and that's twitch.tv/Nintendo Dads. The music that Zach's been providing throughout the day, big thanks to OC Remix for the music throughout the show. A wonderful job. And we have to thank the amazingly talented Carter Johnson for providing our amazing artwork that we've all been kind of tweeting out and promoting for the last little bit. And you can follow her on megacarter.tumblr.com. An amazing artist who is so talented. We're so thankful for the artwork that she provided as well. Now that's where you can get in contact with us. Jesse, where can they actually download or listen to us or check in with more stuff that we do as well?
We're on iTunes, we're on Stitcher, and the episodes are also posted at VGTribune.com.
Absolutely, everybody. And don't forget to give us a rating on iTunes as well while you're there. Check us out. That helps the show out a lot. And don't forget to, again, we love any sort of feedback. We're hoping to get as much as we can. And spread the news. Spread the word. We are full force here, a weekly show, and we'd love to hear your feedback, and always looking for more listeners. So spread the love, everybody. Until next time, play some more games. Peace out.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
I forgot how much I like our ending music and how classy it is.
Oh. Did you, speaking of like actual engagement, people reaching out to us, did you see that we had this guy